Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Across the Formation. It says here it's a brand new American football podcast. I suppose with episode 2, it is a brand new episode, a brand new American football podcast. It's brought to you with a bit of British flavour and humour. That's still in there from last week, but we'll see. My name is Ollie Hunter, and joining me are my fellow co-presenters and good friends. talkSPORT's own Will Gavin. Well, he's also known as Big Ginge, Big Willie, that British NFL commentator guy, viral sensation, owner of Great Overshirts, and OC 2.0.
I like owner of Grey Overshirts is sensational. OC 2.0 feels like a giant stretch. Just because I filled in for the great man when he had his Michael Jordan flu game gone wrong. But I appreciate the love. Thank you, sir.
OC 2.0, I'm going to stick with it. And Sam, two teams, Flaky McFlake Harris. How are you, Sammy Harris?
I'm good, thank you. A lot better. Feeling human again, mate. Got a lovely shard backdrop behind me, and I'm ready to get stuck in to this week's version of Across the Formation.
And Willie, how was Channel 5 double bubble with Quecky and Ashley Williams? Ashley Williams, who I thought came across quite well in that second game.
We had a couple of great games. That Lions-Rams game was sensational. Obviously, Chiefs-Chargers was absolutely unbelievable from a perspective of, whilst a tight, low-scoring game, as we predicted it would be, the storylines, the history, the Chargers doing the double over them for the first time since, I think, 2013. Yeah, certainly Patrick Mahomes was still in high school the last time that they swept the Chiefs, knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs, which was a glorious moment for the neutral who loves to see the NFL's parity actually come to life and things change up every year until, with 1 minute 51 remaining, the greatest quarterback of the modern era goes down with an ACL, and suddenly a somber mood had to go across the way that we covered it. But look, I'm going to talk about the Chiefs in more detail a little bit later on. It was a good time. It was a great slate. That late set of games was astonishing. How much happened, how dramatic it was, and yeah, just brilliant.
How many things moved as well in a lot of people's thoughts when it comes to the playoff picture, and I know we'll do our playoff draft, the long-awaited playoff draft later on in the show. But the playoff picture changed. The way that some quarterbacks were perceived changed, especially in that late slate. It was a stunning slate of games.
If people don't know the format of our show, we're doing some kind of fun feature game thing in the middle. We look forward to the games coming up, but we start the show by doing what we learned in week X, 15 in this case. And yeah, one thing we took away from it, I could have done 15 different topics. Truly, it was wild.
Yeah,
there was storylines from every single game and every single team, pretty much, and multiple storylines from every team as well. It was a slate that I was watching the Green Bay Denver game. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo on the call, and Jim Nantz said it was one of the best slates or one of the best Sundays of NFL football that he had experienced in his many, many years. So yeah, let's get into what we learned from, what's the one thing? I mean, there are many things, as Will just said, but what's the one thing that we learned from this slate of games? Let's go with you first, Sam.
Well, it was Joe Burrow, and I don't like to get stuck into quarterbacks because it's not really something that I could ever do in my lifetime. But what I learned from this weekend, that Joe Burrow hasn't got
hold on. Before you do that, these guys are paid $60 million to do it. There are only like 20 of them in the world that do it well. There aren't even 32. There aren't enough for every single team to do it. No. Your job is to get into them. You get stuck into them, Sam. Don't you hold back.
So last week we had that press conference, which kind of felt like, and me as a Colts fan, Joe Burrow basically said, if I'm not enjoying this game anymore, I don't really understand why I continue to play. And it did bring back the memories of Andrew Luck retiring right before our season started. And it just really irked me. I mean, they were all but eliminated from any chance of the playoffs. But as the leader, as the $55 million man a year, your teammates cannot be hearing you say that. It's criminal. Like you can't do that before the divisional rival game as well. I was just like mid-season. It sounded like he'd quit, and then what happens? it translated into the game. It was pathetic performance from him. Some of the throws he was making didn't look like it was Joe Burrow of old. I know he is the most unprotected quarterback in the last couple of seasons, and his injuries are there to prove it. But do you know what, mate? You're playing in an era where you're not taking that hard tackles. It's not the quarterback role of 20 years ago. Andrew Luck as well. I don't want to hear them being compared. Andrew Luck played through ruptured spleens, broken ribs. It was just it really rubbed me up the wrong way when I heard the comments, and then for him to back it up with that performance, it just wasn't good enough. You need to. Fine if you want to come out at the end of the season and say something like that, but you're the leader of this franchise. If I'm the fans, that is really pissing me off. If I'm the teammates, I'm looking at him like this is our leader, and he's copping out in the middle of the season. It's just not good enough. And yeah, it's worrying times because if his head is out of the game, I mean, they could be just as messed up as the Colts have been ever since Andrew Luck walked out the door, and they might have to start a 55-year-old granddad, 45-year-old granddad as their QB in a few years' time. Like I think it maybe touched the nerve because I've been through it as a Colts fan with Andrew Luck, and yeah, I just thought a lot higher of him is all I'm saying. I don't want to dig him out too much, but yeah, I am going to dig him out.
I could not disagree with you more.
I'm with Ollie.
I mean, comments aside, but watching that game back, and I have watched that game back, Joe Burrow, clearly his turf toe is still an issue. He wasn't as mobile as he could have been or has been in the past. But there were still some amazing throws, rolling out to his right, throwing it back across his body, touch passes to the sideline. The two picks, the first one was on him, but it was a no-look pass that he just overshot. It was tipped by Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase mistimed his leap, so that happens. The second pick, he got done by an incredible play by Kyle Van Noy. Overload on the right-hand side of the Ravens line for 3. It looks like it's going to be 3 rushing him. He only and remember that's his blind side as a right-handed quarterback. Van Noy then drops back. There's a free rusher because the protection, as you just said, was dreadful then, and it's been dreadful all season. And he drops it into Van Noy, who he doesn't see because he's just been bum rushed by a free rusher. The rest of that game, he played really well. I think actually he and the Bengals being let down by Zach Taylor, who's been getting away with it for absolute years, and I think you're way off the mark here, Sam.
As an organization, the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think that was a message from Burrow to them.
Yeah, 100%. Sam, as an organization, the Cincinnati Bengals are a clown car beyond all clown cars. They couldn't even get the seats cleared for the fans, which is a league requirement for them to clear the snow off the seats. And they couldn't even pay people to go and do that. The Brown family who run this organization do so with such tight purse strings, completely ignoring the fact that by doing so, by waiting to pay players till a year, even 2 years later than they should, not only do they lose talent, but they end up paying them far more than they would have had to have paid them anyway if they'd got out ahead of it. They are so concerned about the cash richness of the organization that they have allowed it to go into disarray. He somehow dragged the carcass of this organization to a Super Bowl in 2021, but despite the fact that Zach Taylor couldn't protect him. And I have moments with Joe Burrow where I have frustrations. It's clear that you talk about the protection. It's clear that the offense is run the way Burrow wants it, right? And that's where I will agree with you. He wants to grip it and rip it. He wants 5 guys out in the formation. He wants to be doing that style of offense. He doesn't want extra offensive linemen and a heavy run game and all that stuff. He wants to go out and play quarterback. But actually, it is just so poorly run, so poorly drafted, so poorly coached, so poorly owned that if I was Joe Burrow, I'd be going out in the media. He had to do it last year. Last year, he literally had to go and say to them, pay my guys, get it done. And he had to do it in media interviews because they won't listen to him behind the scenes. And I feel like it's him kind of doing it again. Essentially, I feel like right now he's saying we need a hard reset. And if I'm his teammates, if I'm the fans, I'm backing Burrow all the way. And I'm saying, yes, the guy who has a voice is speaking for us.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really, don't you? I mean, you can't risk you can't risk him leaving because he is pretty much the only shining light to bring that franchise forward. And I guess maybe they are just seeing it, the owners, as a profit making machine. I mean, they're still one of the only franchises that don't have an indoor training arena, aren't they? Or they might have just adjusted that. I know Pat McAfee always gets stuck into them about that, and it's just but I don't know. I think it rubbed me up the wrong way because I've been through it before with Andrew Luck, and it touched the nerve. But
I'll go next. And a bit of positivity because, Sammy, I know that you are a negative man. And I think what Will's about to bring to the table may be falling into those territories, but I'm going full on positive.
If Ollie's going to be positive here after having one of the most devastating halves of football this past weekend, when at halftime of the 9:25 games, the Packers are sat in the 1 seed, they're beating the 11 straight win Broncos, they are sailing their way to the playoffs and they're Super Bowl favourites, and an hour and a half later, they've lost their best player on offense outside of the quarterback, they've lost a generational pass rusher to an ACL injury, and they've dropped from the 1 seed to the 7 seed and almost have a very, very slim chance of even making the playoffs. If you can bring positivity after all that happened to you, Ollie Hunter, I commend you.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about the Green Bay Packers, and I will never speak about Tony Romo again, who said at one point, he said Jordan Love is in the MVP conversation, and then it all went to absolute
Heck in a handcart.
Oh my God. Brutal in many counts. Maybe we'll get onto Green Bay later, but I want to talk about, so I was flicking between, especially in that second half, the Green Bay Packers game and Will Gavin on Channel 5 and the Rams Detroit game. And what a game that was. And mainly, I want to talk about Puka Nakua. So I want to talk about Puka Nakua, a man that was selected in the 5th round, not the Brady round, but the 5th round. And he is just so good. He's the reason that Matt Stafford will win the MVP this year. He is second on all told receiving yards behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. He is second on reception completion rate, just under 80% behind Trey McBride. But it's the kind of catches and what he does to the game. We had the catch against the Carolina Panthers 2 weeks ago where it was one-handed. Sam still doesn't think it's a good catch. But I just think in this era of where you've got wide receivers that aren't not dragging their teams up, but because Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, two prime candidates for wide receiver of the league, I just think Puka Nakua, not the fastest, but he is one of the most physical. He has insane hands. He's a great route runner. I love watching Puka Nakua, and he is my absolute favorite and the best wide receiver in the league. Discuss.
Do you want to know how many what percentage of snaps Puka Nakua was in the game this weekend? Because he had a knock,
it was light,
and he missed some time, and obviously Devontae Adams went down, and they were playing all that 13 personnel. Puka Nakua only played 56% of snaps this weekend. In that time, he had 9 receptions for 181 yards, and by the way, had a really uncharacteristic drop right at the top of the game that would have taken this whole game over 200 yards. I think he is. I was thinking about this weekend because I was thinking about whether or not Jackson Smith and Jigba deserves a shout as being a top 5 guy in the NFL at this point. He's been so good this year. That's another conversation for another time. But Puka Nakua, I think outside of your Twin Tower LSU Jefferson Chase, I think he's probably my favorite receiver and probably the best number 1 receiver in the NFL. He's been helped hugely by Devontae Adams there, but man, do I love watching him play football.
Yeah, and I think it's his style of play as well. Like, he's someone that you want to be a teammate of yours. You know he's going to jump into any tackle coming his way as long as he's going to that hands on the ball. And it's why he's always questionable going into a week. Like, he invites the hits, but every single time he leaves with the ball in his hands. He's a joy to watch, and he's probably my favorite wide receiver that is in the league right now in terms of like, right, slate of games are on, I want to watch the Rams because Puka's on, and you're going to see something special. And I think in terms of having him as a teammate, I mean, yeah, it's exactly what you look for, really.
Any concerns?
There we go.
Right. Any concerns with the fact that the Lions don't really have a run game? You know, their lead rusher was Jameer Gibbs with 38 yards, right? Despite that, they went for nearly 400 total yards, scored 34 points. Is there any concern with the Rams as like a Super Bowl favorite that the defense has been a little bit bend, don't break recently, but actually breaking?
I don't know. I think when your offense is that high powered and you've got Sean McVay, who, I mean, this is maybe a conversation for next week, but he's my favorite head coach in the league without a shadow of a doubt. But Sean McVay, who schemes up and gets his teams utterly ready to play whoever they're facing. I think come the playoffs, that defense will tighten up and shut stuff down. Detroit didn't have a run game, but Detroit's pass game is so good with what Dan Campbell et al. Does with all of that. Amon-Ra St. Brown probably in that conversation as one of the best wide receivers in the league as well. Jameson Williams is really coming into his own. We're starting to see him see the promise of what he delivered coming out of college a couple of years ago. So I think that Rams fans shouldn't be too worried because there will be harder tests to come, and they'll be ready for them come those playoffs, which they've clinched. They clinched that this weekend.
I did think about talking about Green Bay, Ollie, but I feel like I got my point across succinctly nicely there.
Think so.
I'm going to talk about the biggest storyline coming out of this weekend and going into the future of the NFL and definitely the AFC. And that is the Kansas City Chiefs have no quick fix. This is not a team who are suddenly going to bounce back and start going to Super Bowls again. I do not believe that despite having Patrick Mahomes, despite having Andy Reid, despite the fact that they have managed to go to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and win 3 of them, that this is a team who have a quick route back to being a proper contender next season. I think the issues that they've had this season were all in existence last year, and they were papered over by a sensational quarterbacking performance by winning 11 out of 11 one-score games, despite having no explosive plays, despite having absolutely no run game, managing to scramble their way into a Super Bowl. Actually, I think what happened was a delay in fixing the issues they do have. The one thing they've done well is they drafted Simmons. They've got a left tackle if he stays healthy, and if he stays healthy is a big question. But there are several issues with this team which just are not fixable in one offseason, that are not fixable through free agency and through the draft. There's no way that they're going to move on from Andy Reid unless he makes that decision, unless he stands up and says, I'm done, I'm walking away. Unless Steve Spagnuolo does the same, I don't think there's any way they move along there. But the coaching this year has not been good enough, has not been adaptable enough. They have not self-scouted well enough. They have not identified their own problems and been able to fix them. And I think there's been a combination of coaching issues and a combination of talent issues. They need a proper running game like no team I've ever seen. Like, astonishingly, this is a team who over this incredible run that they've gone through, since 2018, since Patrick Mahomes came into the league, they have been either first or second in pass rate over expectation every single season. They're second to the Cardinals this year. For a team who are so often ahead, for a team who are so often going to Super Bowls, the fact that they have never had a run game in the entire time he's there, despite the fact that they could have had Breece Hall for an absolute steal during this past trade window, and yet still continue to trot out Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, who I know they paid a high pick for, but clearly isn't the guy they thought he was. The issues with the line are still there. They still, despite investing in the interior, it's not lived up to the expectations. The right tackle problems that they've had, I see another flag for lining up in the wrong position. Again, Jawan Taylor's had the same flag against him for 4 straight years in every single game, and yet still can't figure it out and still can't be coached out of it. Travis Kelce's going to retire. They need a perimeter receiver absolutely desperately. They need more balance in their receiver room. And I'm only looked at the offensive side of the ball here. Like, I think Rashee Rice, outside of his off-the-field problems, is a very good receiver who can really, stand up for them. But they spent a first-round pick on Xavier Worthy, second-round picks on Sky Moore and Rashee Rice, a fourth on Jalen Royals. They've traded for Kadarius Toney. They traded for DeAndre Hopkins. They've spent big money on Hollywood Brown, and then also brought in Tyquan Thornton, and none of it has fixed their receiving room problems. And they've still not got a pass rush. I like the linebackers. I'll give you that. I like the linebackers on this team. If they didn't have Superman Patrick Mahomes, I think this would be a 500 team every single season with the roster they've got right now. They've been dragged to relevancy, and I think they are no longer that team, and they need to make big changes this offseason. I feel like I talked for about 6 minutes.
What are they going to do, though? Like, I mean, Pat... That's why you're here, mate.
Take a breath.
I mean, realistically, what they can do with Pat is, if earliest that he could come back, I mean, the season will be done for the next year anyway. Do you just sit in for the year and effectively tank to try? I mean, again, it's only going to get you a certain so far with your picks. What do you do if you're in that situation?
I think modern medicine indicates that you probably can. He probably will be back, if not for the start of the season, not that far into the season. ACLs now can be just a 9-month injury, which is astonishing. You know, as long as he doesn't go full Brandon Ayuk and just decide to not turn up for rehab, then I think, like, but without a preseason, without him, without the fact I'm saying that they need to invest in the offensive line and in receivers and in a running game and in, like, they almost what they have to do is act like they don't have Patrick Mahomes and go, how can we be successful without him? And then if he's back in there, what a boost that is for.
It feels like they are on almost full reset, like full reset in the running back room, full reset in the tight end room, full reset in the defensive line room. I like, there's a couple of players in the defensive backfield that I like. I like Trent McDuffie. I like Brian Cook. But again, these guys are streaky as well. So I think you're right, Will. I think it's a full reset needed. And I think Andy Reid probably needs to have a look at himself, because he used to be, up until a couple of years ago, this fun, a guy with an incredible game plan, incredible plays, and we haven't seen that. We just haven't seen it. And invariably, what's happened this year is Patrick Mahomes has literally run them out of trouble, and it was just one run too far. And
look, Andy Reid to me is obviously a nailed-on Hall of Famer. I think that's not controversial to say that. I think he is a Mount Rushmore guy. I think a top 3-4 all-time NFL head coach. But this was the same thing he did in Philadelphia. They were the most pass-heavy team when he was in Philadelphia as well. I think what needs to potentially happen is, as much as Steve Spagnuolo has been phenomenal, as much as he's been phenomenal, is maybe they just need to go, right, do what Belichick did when he was at the height of his powers, not in the kind of post-Jordan, I don't care about football anymore era, but in the actual era of, you know, innovation, is to actually look at the staff beneath him and say, right, I need some new ideas. I need something to come in the building and freshen this up. I desperately need something to inject some new life into this. If Mike McDaniels got fired as the Dolphins head coach, which I now don't think he's going to, but say McDaniels left that job, I would throw $10 million a year at him to come and just be my run game coordinator in Kansas City. Like, that's the kind of guy they need. They need Mike McDaniels from 5 years ago. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know enough about the league to tell you who that guy is, but they need to go and find an offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy's not the one. They need to go and find a guy who can come in and run that offense and push Andy Reid and come up with new ideas. We could do an hour on this, so I don't want to keep going on about it. But the Chiefs, it's not a quick reset. It's not an easy fix. And that's without the fact they're going to be missing their quarterback for the entire offseason.
The Chiefs are not in the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Ridiculous. They won't.
Patrick Mahomes has never been eliminated from the playoffs earlier than overtime in the AFC Championship game. That is astonishing.
That's wild.
Like, 7 years as a starter, he lost to the Patriots in overtime and he lost to the Bengals in overtime. That's the earliest he's been eliminated until now. But it has papered over cracks.
What I'm hearing is the dynasty is over.
Yeah, I hate that phrase, but yeah, this dynasty is over. They could be, because they've got Patrick Mahomes, a Patriot-style double dynasty, but they're going to need some, at least a tough year, if not a couple of tough years to get there. Right. We talked a lot.
Agreed.
Well, the Chiefs aren't playoff bound, Patrick Mahomes, as we just said, But it's now the time for us to be drafting our playoff teams and hopefully the Super Bowl winner. How are we thinking about doing this, Will Gavin? Explain for the listeners and viewers out there. How are we gonna do this?
So our original idea before Sam Harris fell off the face of the earth last week was that we were going to do this last week. We were going to draft. I think we were going to do 15 teams. So we were going to have 5 teams each, and we were going to draft a playoff roster, our stable of teams, and how far your team gets gives you more points. So you get a point for qualifying for the playoffs, 2 points for getting to the divisional round, 3 points for getting to the championship game, 5 points for getting to the Super Bowl, and a bonus 2 points if you win the Super Bowl, is the idea. And I still want to do this because I want to make this a thing, and I want this to be a thing we do every year. And I think we should do it earlier every year, right? If this becomes a long-term endeavor, we should make this something that we always do. I still want to do it because I want to establish the format, but it is a little bit of a shame that a lot was decided this past weekend. But even so, this is going to be all about, we all know who's getting picked in the first couple of rounds. How are you going to make up the back end of your stable to make sure that you get the points you need to go and win this game? So how are we deciding the order first and foremost? Because we haven't done that. It's going to be a snake draft. I am happy to just put it into a random number generator and just do that. We can play a quick game of rock, paper, scissors and see who is going to be picking in what order. In fact, let's just do that. Oh, no, wait. Sam's on such an insane delay that I don't know whether he's just cheating or...
Yeah.
Let's go oldest to youngest.
All right, fine. Oldest to youngest. So am I picking... So you're picking me first, then me, then Sam. And Sam gets the swing.
Yeah.
He gets the 3 pick, right? And the 4 pick. Fine. Done. It also goes left to right on my screen, and that's nice and entertaining. Ollie, then, with the first overall pick in the across the formation playoff draft, you're essentially saying who you think is going to win the Super Bowl here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, had this been last week, I would have picked a team completely different to the team that I'm picking this week.
Taking the Packers.
I would have taken the Packers because I thought with Micah Parsons,
Ollie,
and Jordan Love.
Ollie, the Packers are basically the 2024 Packers now, right? Like, those are the players that you've lost. So surely you can go on a playoff run.
Yeah, we didn't last year, though, so...
He's definitely taking them at 6 when it comes around to him, isn't he?
So with the first pick of the 2025-26 across the formation draft, Ollie Hunter is taking the Los Angeles Rams.
I've already written it down. It was so nailed on.
Yeah, it's clearly, wasn't it? I'm waiting to see when you will pick the Seattle Seahawks, Will Gavin.
I had serious consideration about taking them here. And I think picking second in this draft's insanely difficult here because essentially, really the impetus is on me to pick the AFC contender in the Super Bowl. Does anyone know who that's going to be? Does anyone have a figuring on who they think it's going to be?
After Buffalo, New England, like no idea.
My pick from 2 weeks ago, I went so hard on Houston, and I'm loving the Jaguars right now. But give me the superhuman man mountain who just refuses to lose games. I don't think they're the best team in the AFC, but I think that with no Patrick Mahomes, if the Bills don't do it this year, they may never do it. I'll take the Buffalo Bills. I don't like it, but I'll do it.
I love it. I am so high on the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen, about to be a new dad as well. Congratulations to him and Ms. Steinfeld. I think that's a sensational pick. Well done.
Sammy, you get back-to-backs.
I agree. That's a sensational pick, and I think that is. I think no one likes to see people get injured, but I'm sure Josh Allen kind of had a little smirk in his mind, thinking, "Do you know what? I don't have to face that guy again in the playoffs." Maybe just himself. He wouldn't admit it to anyone. Right, I'm going to go with the third pick.
Colts.
One that no. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, who just beat my Colts, and I know they'd made a bit of a meal out of it, but they just needed to get in and out in that game, and they did the job. I think it's a massive game against the Rams coming up. I still expect them to go on a bit of a run. If Darnold can keep his head screwed on during that. I know it wasn't great what he did with the Vikings in the playoffs, but I believe in this team a lot more. And with my fourth pick, I'm going to go for Willie's Texans.
You're a scumbag.
Really love their defense. I think this division is still super tight, but I didn't want you to have him, mate, so I'm taking him from you.
That's a sensational pick, and I love it on multiple reasons.
You're a double scumbag because not only have you taken the Texans, who you knew I wanted, but you've taken the Seahawks despite the fact their offense has fallen off an absolute cliff in the last few weeks. So you just guaranteed yourself losing this game in the space of back-to-back picks. Okay.
Oh, shots fired. You're so angry.
I'm
You're so
livid.
angry.
So I realistically think there is two teams I could go for.
I'm going to go for the one that you don't on the swing. That's your problem.
I'm going to take a team who haven't been mentioned yet. I'm going to take a team who have been put down on this show previously, who I did not believe in, but after watching a consistent 4 quarters of brilliance against the Green Bay Packers this weekend, I finally believe in the Denver Broncos, and somehow the number 1 seed in the AFC is guaranteeing me 3 points immediately from the off. I am taking the Denver Broncos.
It's a great pick because, and I watched that game forensically, he and Sean Payton were so good. He was clutch on 3rd and 4th downs. He had, I think, 3 4th down conversions, all of which were insane. He is, Bo Nix, like, I totally get it now. I totally get it. He was unflappable.
It feels like, and I still have my doubts about him as being a top-tier guy, but it feels like finally Sean Payton took the training wheels off. He finally trusts him enough. And I'll tell you, when we watched them earlier in the season live and in person, he did not trust him. And the play calling indicated that. I think he finally has trust in him. He finally believes, and that means I finally believe too.
I'm not sure I love Bo Leave, though.
Tough. I'm doing it every time now.
Yeah, that's not going to become a thing.
Believe is very much already a thing.
Believe a thing.
I said it on TV. I'm going to say it on the podcast. And look, my mic just came out as well. Nobody wants Believe to be a thing, even my equipment.
Okay, so with my next pick, I'm going to pick 2 teams that Will Gavin definitely would have picked on the swing. I'm going to go for the Trevor Lawrence rejuvenated Jacksonville Jaguars, who just sensational stuff this weekend. 5 touchdown passes, just incredible. He was incredible. Their wide receiving core is unreal. Have they got Travis Hunter, no relation, to come back as well? If they have, then great. If not, they've still got BJT,
Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers has completely changed.
Jacoby Myers, completely.
Trevor Lawrence, the last 3 weeks, has played the best game of his career every week. Better and better and better.
Yeah.
Like, I nearly took the Jags, but I felt like if I left the Broncos and that defense on the table, it would be disgusting.
Yeah, and I would have gone Broncos, and that was the team that I thought you were going to take. And on the swing, after the Jaguars, they might not even make the playoffs. Do I pick them? Oh, no. I'm going to leave them for Will Gavin.
Do it.
Because I'm going to take Sam Harris's Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow. Okay. Only
because
there's a team right now.
They will make the playoffs.
My problem here is, right, and the Eagles will make the playoffs, and despite the fact their offense is an absolute atrocity. If you'd pick the team I thought you were going to pick there, I think Ollie's going to win this whole game. I've left myself in an absolute hole here now, because there's a very obvious team still on the table who I think should absolutely have gone already by this point, and it's astonishing that they have. The problem is that if I pick them, I've got 3 AFC teams. I still don't have an NFC team, and with 3 out of 5 picks in, so what am I going to do? Oh, I'm doing it anyway. I'm taking Drake May. I'm taking the New England Patriots. I'm just going to have the AFC Championship game. I'm going to have it's going to have to be Bills Patriots or Bills Broncos. Otherwise, I've got no chance of winning anything. I'm going 3 AFC teams.
You're taking the Patriots over your own San Francisco 49ers.
Of course I am. Did you watch? The Titans scored 30 points on us this week. Are you mental?
That is Niner Nation. I don't know what you're called, but whatever.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
They're prospectors. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, you're a disgrace.
Sam Harris.
That has blown me away. You know what, though? I respect it. You're all in the AFC. Do you know what? Do we keep picking NFC teams now so he gets to keep on with this? No, I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for.
Pick who you believe in. Don't think about other people. Don't think about the tactics and the strategy. Just pick who you think can win the Super Bowl.
Get out of his head, Will Gavin.
I know you're
Let
trying.
him do what he wants.
I'm going to go with the Bolts, the Chargers. They've looked really good.
Wow.
And do you know what as well? I don't just fancy to get to the players. I can see them going on a little run. The way that team's playing right now, I kind of see it. I was chatting to a friend about this the other night. We were watching them, and there's just something about him. He's feeling himself right now. But I didn't want to. I thought my well, not mine, but I thought the Patriots would be there. Right, it's me again. I'm gonna gotta get some love to the NFC South. Surely, I mean, no one's to tap him because someone's got to come out of it.
Sorry, you're picking the NFC South now.
This is amazing.
Well, it means it's guaranteed playoff.
Yeah. He's thinking about that single point. But who are you picking? Because
I am.
I mean, it's like a 50-50 coin flip.
This is amazing. I didn't think they even.
I know, but I'm going with our boys. You know I'm going with Ollie. I love them so
Panthers.
much. Out of respect for the fans, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. And that is out of nothing other than love for those fans that we made friends with. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers.
This is astonishing.
I cannot believe
he's just tanked the whole game.
I mean, that's insane.
What?
Not only did you go with that division, there's the division in the AFC East where it's clearly going to be the Steelers that will make the playoffs. Sorry, the AFC North. It's clearly the Steelers that are going to make the playoffs. Oh, wow. Just wow. Will Gavin.
I don't want anything to do with
the worst part of this is that I was like, right, I'm definitely going to have to take an NFC team next, just in the hope that somebody goes on like a fairy tale run. I really do. I am at the point where I do think if it's not the Rams or the Seahawks, I really don't believe in anyone else necessarily. And the Eagles obviously have the talent and the experience, but I don't like the coaching, and the offense has been bad, and Jalen Hurts has been bad. So who do I think is more likely to have a fairy tale story? And who do I think is more likely going to piss off Ollie Hunter if I take them? His Green Bay Packers or my San Francisco 49ers?
Well,
let's be honest, it's one or the other.
The wild thing is on the swing, you can pick up the Chicago Bears because I'm definitely not taking them. So,
do you know what? It was already in my mind. I was like, in my head, I went, right, I'm going to take the 49ers or Packers, and then I'll take the Bears fifth because obviously Ollie's not going to take them. Do you know what? Just for the homerism of it, because the swagger with which Brock Purdy has been playing the last 2 weeks, that 40-yard scramble off the left-hand side, where as he ended the run, he teased the linebacker with the ball before stepping out of bounds, and then did the Dougie down the sideline, was just... He is feeling himself. Ricky Pearsall was sensational in this game after he came back in this weekend. The offense can put up 35 points a game. I don't think the defense can hold the Rams necessarily. I'm going to put this out here, though. I'm going to say one thing, and I will have this on record officially. I think the 49ers have more chance of going to the Super Bowl based on what I've watched in recent weeks than the Seattle Seahawks, who Sam took with his number 1 overall pick. Because that's how bad Darnold's been the last 2 weeks. Sorry, buddy. Obviously, I'm taking the 49ers.
I've got a lot of respect for that. Got a lot of respect for that. He's wearing a Stanford jersey, pal. Because
I've not got enough Niners gear back here to do a Niners one. Like, come on.
Okay. Conundrums here. I'm definitely taking the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, just to have them as your 4th pick. Come on, mate.
Yeah. And then 5th pick, do you take Aaron Rodgers, former Packers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who looked much better this weekend, or the Houston Texans?
The Texans have gone, mate. What are you talking about?
Texans have gone? Oh, then I take the Steelers. Bosh.
What on earth?
Easy. Come on, Rodgers. I've been rooting for him all season anyway. I think
it's the perfect 5th round pick. Take somebody who's pretty nailed on for a playoff place and move on from there. So
what you're saying is Sam Harris should have done that with
of course I am.
his. Yeah.
So right, we're picking 15 teams, right? There are only 19 teams currently on the bubble, right? That means with these last 2 picks of these teams, one of these is going to miss out. The Lions, the Ravens, the Bears. I mean, what? All current 7 teams who are in the AFC playoffs right now are in there. And despite the fact that for my 49ers pick to come off, they probably need to beat the Bears in 2 weeks' time, I am going to take the Chicago Bears. It's mental that they've fallen this far down, despite the fact that they lead their division right now. And I leave the situation of Sam going Lions, Ravens, or Colts to him. Oh, sorry. Or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who still lead that division. Oh, my God. If the Buccaneers don't get picked, this is an absolute atrocity.
Imagine he's just picked both the Bucs and the Panthers. Oh, my God.
I was scratching my head at the thought of doing that, but no.
Should we do another whole round? Because I feel like we need to.
No, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. That offense is hot. I know
they're not making the playoffs, mate.
I know I should have really gone my Colts and backed them, really, but I mean, realistically, I can't see us. We only need to win 2 games to get into it, but I can't see it happening. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I would actually like to see them go quite far in it. They're always entertaining to see in the playoffs when it comes to that time of the year. But yeah, so I'll go with the Lions, and this would be my last pick right now.
No, you've already made your last pick. We're doing 15 picks, mate. You're done. We're out of here.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, Colts. I'm sorry, Colts.
The Colts, Ravens, Buccaneers, and technically the Cowboys, who still have a 1% current chance of making the playoffs. None of them got picked. I honestly, Sam has just picked back-to-back teams who I don't think are going to make the playoffs. In the Panthers and Lions.
Wild.
And honestly, the Chargers, I mean, they're going to the playoffs. If they get out of the wild card round with no tackles, it's going to be amazing.
If you look at the playoff
someone's scoring single
percentage,
digits.
Carolina has a 25% chance of making the playoffs. The Bucs have a 75% chance of making the playoffs. The Lions have a 36 chance of making the playoffs.
Keep pounding.
This is wild.
Insane.
Wild scenes.
I believe.
It was a feature that some of us here didn't believe in, but it certainly delivered.
Right. Wow. I thought leaving it till this late would make it really chalky and really boring, and instead, Sam brought the heat. So I'm a huge fan.
Sam Harris is like that, the anti. You know that meme where it's that red dude in front of the fire, and he's doing this. Sam's sort of the anti.
Sam, I'll give you the Bears if you give me the Texans.
Oh, little trade. Oh,
just so you got some actual points coming your way.
I know. Definitely, you need a.
No, I don't need any more AFC teams.
No.
Right. This show's going to go super long if we chat anymore.
Yeah, let's quickly pick one game from week 16 in the NFL that we're looking forward to this week. I will kick us off. Green Bay at the Chicago Bears. It's live on talkSPORT 2 on Saturday night, Sunday morning. And I just want to see how Green Bay cope without Christian Watson, without Micah Parsons, potentially without Zach Tom, potentially without Evan Williams. How are they going to cope going up against the Chicago Bears team, who look really good and have got a really good head coach, and Caleb Williams is coming into his own. Let's see how it goes.
Lovely. Sammy?
Well, I mean, it's rare we get a Thursday night football game this good. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as good as what it could have been a few weeks back before we had, obviously, the Seahawks qualify already. Sorry, not the Seahawks. The Rams have already qualified.
Mate,
it could have been a lot better of a game.
It's still huge.
But you know what? It's still a cracker. It's still a cracker. And I think they might level up the series after they lost to them a couple of weeks ago. I think with Devontae Adams look like he's going to be out. I don't know. I can fancy the Seahawks to do something here. The short week, who knows? But I think it's going to get loud there, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Let me just tell you this scenario. If the Seahawks win on Thursday night, Do you know which team has full control of the number 1 overall pick in the NFC? The San Francisco 49ers. If they can beat the Colts on the road, beat the Bears at home, and then beat the Seahawks in Week 18, they'd be the number 1 seed. It's mental. It's absolutely ridiculous that they've scraped into this. And for that reason, I'm going to go 49ers Colts. I'll tell you why I'm going 49ers Colts, though. It's not the reason you're thinking. And I know we've gone very homery with our picks this week. 49ers Colts is a fun game regardless, because what you've got is the 49ers offense that it's getting better and better week by week and really starting to find its identity. But on the other side of the ball, you've got a 49ers defense who can't get pressure on the quarterback against the Colts line that held up pretty well this year. I need to see if Bernard Bremen's going to be back in or not after he left that game with an injury, because he is really key to them at tackle. It's a chance to see Phillip Rivers going up against a much worse defense than the Seattle Seahawks. And that to me is fun. And so with a long week, time for his body to recover, I think we're going to get a bit of a Monday night shootout. I think the 49ers will have too much for the Colts, but we'll see Phillip Rivers score multiple touchdowns in an NFL game at 44 years old with 3 grandkids. And I'm here for it.
What's utterly wild to me is
there's so many
Will
good
Gavin,
games.
How
have we not done Broncos Jaguars? How have we not done Broncos Jags? That game is so good.
You've got Pats at Ravens live on talkSPORT 2 as well, where the Ravens need a win to stay in it. The Pats need a win to stave off the Buffalo Bills. There are so many great games all
Lions
across the
Steelers
league.
In order to see the Lions knocked out of the playoffs and absolutely kill Sam.
It's astonishing, almost astonishing, as a man who supports the 49ers. His second team's the Rams, and he's hoping for a Seahawks win against his second team.
It's disgusting. No, here's what it is. Here's what it is as a fan. Thursday night is a win-win, right? The Rams win. The Seahawks get knocked down the playoff countings. We can finish above them in the wild card race. And my belief that they are chalk, they are not chalk, that's the wrong phrase, that they are toast on the offensive side of the ball maybe comes true. And if the Seahawks win, then we've got a chance at the number 1 seed. So, I'm just going to not watch the game on Thursday, look at the score on Google on Friday morning, and then pretend that game never happened.
Oh my God, we haven't even talked about the Sam Harris Bowl of Tampa Bay versus Carolina in the NFC disgrace.
If Carolina lose that game, what are you going to do in order for us to let you have the Buccaneers instead of the Panthers? Like, what's the forfeit?
We're going to have to come up with something. Well, I've set up a Gmail account for our listeners to start contacting us in. It's acrosstheformation@gmail.com. Maybe they can come up with some ideas. But we also need to come up with a forfeit for whoever loses this. And I've got a feeling it could be me now. But do you know what? It's probably funnier that way.
Beautiful stuff.
Listen, gents, it's been, again, we've gone long, but it's been really fun as always. Thanks very much for tuning in to everyone. You boys have a lovely rest of your week. And wow, playoff picture is certainly hotting up. And we will see how it all shakes down when it comes to our playoff draft as well. We'll see you next week on Across the Formation.